At 62, Arthur Vance never thought he would outlive his son. But there he was, March 18th, 2024, standing at the Morrison Funeral Home staring at a mahogany casket containing his 37-year-old boy, Gregory. 3 days earlier, Gregory had supposedly died of a massive heart attack at his office. Healthy, 37 years old, dead. The doctor blamed stress from running a $12 million business empire. But something felt wrong. Gregory's wife, Simone, dabbed at her eyes with theatrical precision. Her grief seemed calculated, her black designer dress too perfect. Then there was Preston Cole, Gregory's business partner and Simone's secret lover, whose eyes never left Simone throughout the service. When Arthur approached the casket to say goodbye, Preston appeared beside him and whispered, "Don't worry, old man. I'll spend his millions better than he ever did." Then came the impossible. From inside the casket, a soft chuckle. Gregory's laugh. Arthur gripped the casket edge, heart hammering. Preston had heard it too. His face went pale as he retreated toward the exit. Later, alone with the casket, Arthur noticed something else. Gregory's wedding ring was missing. The drive home was torture. Arthur poured whiskey and stared at photos of Gregory. High school graduation, wedding day, last Christmas. The phone rang. Simone's voice was soft and fragile. "The lawyer wants to meet about the will. Preston thinks we should—" "Since when does Preston think for our family?" Arthur interrupted. "He's been such a help." Arthur hung up, pieces of a terrible picture forming in his mind. The next morning, he drove to St. Mary's Hospital. Dr. Margaret Chen, the attending physician, looked uncomfortable when Arthur pressed for details. The only odd thing, she admitted, was how quickly rigor mortis set in, much faster than normal. What would cause that? Arthur asked. Extreme physical exertion before death, certain medications, or if the time of death was incorrect, if someone had died earlier and the body was kept cold. Arthur's blood ran cold. At Gregory's office building, the receptionist, Jennifer, told him Preston had been working late every night since the death, going through files. The day Gregory died, Arthur asked, what time did Preston leave? She left at 5, but she claimed she found Gregory's body at 6:30. I thought it was strange. The funeral home director added another piece. Gregory's body had been brought in much colder than normal, as if he had been refrigerated. Someone had lied about the timeline. Someone had kept Gregory's body cold. That evening, Simone called again. "Joel, we need to talk. Can you come over? There's something important about Gregory that I need to tell you." At Simone's house, she admitted the affair with Preston had started 6 months ago. "But Joel, Gregory knew. He hired a private investigator to follow me. He'd been acting strange for months, sleeping in the guest room, disappearing for hours, renting a storage unit under a false name." She handed Arthur a manila envelope. Inside, photographs of Gregory meeting with Dr. Harrison, his college roommate who worked at St. Mary's. Photographs of Gregory entering a small apartment building. Photographs of documents, cash, fake IDs, everything needed to disappear. "The night he supposedly died," Simone whispered, "I was with Preston. We have alibis for each other. But Joel, I don't think Gregory is dead. I think he faked it to catch us." Arthur drove to the storage facility. Unit 73 was set up like a command center. Corkboards with photographs, legal papers, surveillance equipment, and a small refrigerator containing vials labeled "Temporary Paralysis Agent, Mimics Cardiac Arrest Symptoms." His son had drugged himself to fake his own death. Footsteps behind him. Arthur spun around. Preston stood in the doorway, a gun pointed at his chest. "Hello, Arthur. I was wondering when you'd find this place." Preston stepped inside. "Your son moved $12 million out of his accounts 3 weeks before his supposed death. You're going to help me get it back." Preston's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Storage unit compromised. Package is secure." "He's watching us," Arthur said. Then they heard footsteps. Gregory appeared in the doorway, alive, thinner but unmistakably his son. "Let him go, Preston. This is between us." Actually, it's between me and $12 million. Gregory pulled out a recording device. August 15th, you and Simone in your apartment discussing how to arrange an accident for me. Preston's face went white. You were supposed to be dead. Funny thing about death, Gregory said calmly. It gives you time to plan. The police are already on their way. I've been recording everything. In the distance, sirens approached. Preston's expression snapped into panic. If I'm going down, I'm taking you both with me. He swung the gun towards Gregory. Arthur didn't remember deciding to move. He just threw himself forward, knocking Preston off balance as the gun fired. The shot grazed Arthur's shoulder. Gregory wrestled Preston to the ground as police swarmed the unit. Preston was handcuffed and dragged away. "Why didn't you tell me?" Arthur asked as paramedics bandaged his shoulder. "Because you would have tried to talk me out of it. Preston was planning to kill us both. The only way to stop him was to make him reveal himself." Later that night, Simone called Gregory. "I know you're alive. Meet me at the house in 1 hour or I burn it all down." At the house on Elm Street, Simone stood in the living room with a can of gasoline and a cigarette lighter. The smell was overwhelming. "You ruined my life," she spat. "Preston loved me. He was going to take care of me." She flicked the lighter. A small flame danced. Gregory stepped forward. "I loved you, Simone, even after everything. I don't want you to die." For a moment she hesitated. Then the sirens grew louder. Her face twisted with rage. "You called them?" "I called them because I want you to live." She touched the flame to the gasoline-soaked curtains. The room exploded into fire. Gregory grabbed Arthur and pulled him toward the kitchen. They stumbled through smoke as fire trucks arrived. Firefighters carried Simone out, unconscious but alive. She would face arson and conspiracy charges. 3 months later, Preston Cole pleaded guilty to all charges in exchange for life without parole. Simone received 18 years. The $12 million Gregory had hidden became the seed money for a new business, Holloway Security Consulting, helping others protect themselves from betrayal. Arthur sat on his back porch one evening watching the sunset. His shoulder had healed, leaving only a thin scar. The grandfather clock in his hallway chimed steadily. No more codes, no more secrets. Gregory settled into the chair beside him, holding a glass of wine. "Detective Martinez called. Preston died in prison today. A heart attack." Arthur stared at the darkening sky. The man who planned to fake Gregory's cardiac arrest died of the real thing. Poetic, in a way. "How do you feel?" Gregory asked. "Relieved. Grateful that we survived. That we found each other again." They sat in comfortable silence. Somewhere in the distance, life continued its normal rhythms. But here, on this porch, with his son alive and safe beside him, Arthur felt peace for the first time in months. "To second chances," Arthur said, raising his glass. Gregory clinked his against his father's. "To second chances, Dad, and to the people who deserve them." Arthur thought about Simone sometimes, serving her sentence in a women's prison. He hoped she was learning who she was when she wasn't performing for someone else's benefit. Not because he forgave her. Forgiveness was Gregory's choice. But because hatred poisoned the person carrying it more than its target. As for Preston, his story was over. Greed cost him everything. "Dad," Gregory said quietly, "thank you for believing in me, for risking your life to help me. I know it wasn't easy." Arthur reached over and squeezed his son's shoulder. "That's what family does. We protect each other, no matter the cost." The stars emerged, tiny points of light in the vast darkness. But darkness wasn't scary when you weren't facing it alone. Gregory was alive. Their family was safe. And sometimes, Arthur realized, that's all the victory you can ask for.